Hey crafty creators, welcome to my channel. I'm Shelly. Have you ever went to let's say a Hobby Lobby or a craft store or a home decor store and saw this beautiful pampas grass, but it was so out of your budget that you just had to walk away and say no? That's okay. I have created the Crafty Nanny way to make pampas grass, and I actually really love it because we can make it for about $2 or under. So I used a 3-foot dowel, a half a skein of very cheap yarn, and some hot glue. That's it. So with that being said, let's get to crafting. Okay guys, we are going to make the pampas grass. I'm starting with cardboard. You can use whatever you want. And I'm going to make these 4 wide in every single section that I do. This particular one is 4 by 12. Now you can use cardboard, you can use poster board, you can use whatever you have on hand. The next one is going to be 4 by 10. It's okay if it's a little off. Does not have to be perfect by any means. The next one is going to be 4 by 8. Again, just measure down your 4 and then 8 inches. So we have 12, 10, 8. Next one will be 6. You get the idea, so you don't really need me anyway. And we're going to do our 4-inch right here. So since this is 4 wide and 4 deep, basically we're gonna make a 4 by 4 square. Let's do one more at 2 inches. This one will be 2 by 4 deep. So we have 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, and 2. Next step is to cut these out. I'm using an X-Acto knife. You can use whatever kind of scissor or cutting instrument that you choose. Please be very careful, and you want to cut as straight as you can. Obviously it's not completely straight, but that's okay. It is what it is. You know what? We'll use the ruler. Much better. So what I'm doing is I'm holding my X-Acto knife and holding my ruler in place, and then I am just cutting along. So I'll hold my ruler in place and then take the knife and angle and cut. Okay. So I've cut here, here, and here. Now it's not going to come out until I cut all the way through. So right now I'm just going to score everything, and then I will cut the rest of the way in a minute. Okay, so everything is scored, but it won't snap. So I am going to take my X-Acto and I'm going to go through it again. Now keep an eye out on one of the upcoming videos, because we did get a sponsor, and I'm very excited to be working with this sponsor. We'll be sharing some information with you. Now if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and please become part of the family and subscribe. That'd be awesome. When you guys subscribe, it's showing support, and we really appreciate that. Okay, it helps our channel grow, and it keeps me wanting to do these for you. That's it for this, so let's get rid of it. So now, the easiest part, take your yarn, and you can use any kind of yarn you want. Take your cardboard or whatever you've decided to use. This is the Crafty Nanny way. The reason I made these as wide as I did is because we're gonna wind our yarn all the way across. So grab whatever yarn you have, string or yarn. You're gonna want the end of your yarn at the bottom. Just hold it in place, and then you're going to wind this all the way around. When you're done this way, I want you to backtrack. And I want you to go back over what you just did, okay? I'm at the end, right? Now I'm gonna backtrack, and I'm gonna go back the other direction. This ensures that I have enough yarn for this project. I would rather have too much yarn and save some for the next time than to not have enough and have to stop my project and start over. When you have filled it, go ahead and just clip it at the end, like this. Now this was our 2-inch. Now I'm going to go to the 4-inch, which the 4-inch is a complete square. So it doesn't matter if I wind it this way or if I wind it this way. You do not have to wind as much yarn as I do, nor do you have to use the same measurements as I do. I'm doing this because what I am doing, my pampas grass with is a dowel. This dowel that I have chose is about 3 feet long because I want my pampas grass to be tall. So that is why I'm using as much yarn and as many sizes as I am. But the project itself can be adapted to whatever you choose. Now, the next one we're going to do is the 6-inch. Now, make sure that you go the full length. Don't make the mistake of going this way because then all you're doing is making everything 4 inches. This needs to be 6, this needs to be 8, this needs to be 10, etc., etc. So one thing you can do though is you can put a little notch in the bottom of your cardboard if you don't want to hold your string. And then you can actually just push your yarn through it like so, and then you don't have to hold it anymore. So go the long way of your cardboard or whatever you're using. The long way, guys. And then again, you're going to go back the opposite direction. You could even get your kids to do this part for you when you're making dinner. Every one of these is wrapped. For the 12, the 10, the 8, 6, 4, 2. Now we're going to cut the 2 sides off and separate these into 2 piles. And we're going to be cutting down just one side. Okay. Take this pile, see this pile right here? Gather it up, fold it in half, and then cut. Now I have 2 piles. Now you will be using the other pile later. Now I want my sizes to change on my stick every 5 inches. So since my stick is 36 inches long, I'm going to measure approximately 5 inches down and make a line. Then I will measure 5 inches down again and make another line. I have 6 different sizes. I want to make sure that I have some of my stick left to put in my pot or my vase or whatever I use. So every 5 inches, I'm going to be making a line. I may end up with plenty of yarn left over, which would be great because I can combine that with another color and create something different. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then 12 at the bottom. Now that leaves this much to put it into whatever. Okay, so we have these marks right here. Cut a piece of this yarn and I will tie it at each point that I want to change out my size. So if I'm working with 6 and I hit this line, then I know that I need to go to my next size down, which is 4. So there we go. Now you want to take the end of whatever yarn color you have decided on for your stick. I'm gonna go a little bit on the top with my glue, then tiny bit here. And you want to continue going all the way down. Now, I'm not going to put any more glue on this until I get to here. So I'm just going to wind it. And that's all I'm going to do. Okay, so remember when I told you about the knot? And we're going to work right up to it. You see that line right there? Little tiny dab of glue. Push this knot back up on there so it can't move. And then we're going to wind this around. And I'm going to hold these up and wind this around. And when I'm done, these will be sticking out of it. I have figured out that if you go real fast like this, then you just push it. I am at the very end right here. I'm going to go ahead and put the yarn all the way to the end like it would be in a regular plant. You can end it just like you started using the hot glue on the end. Now that all of the main stuff is finished, here is our starting point. What we're going to do is we are going to take the longest section we have, which is the 12s. We're going to take about 4 or 5 at a time, and we're going to just lay them right here. A little bit of hot glue. You're going to keep following this pattern all the way up. If you don't feel like it's filling in enough, then you can do exactly what I'm doing, which is just kind of filling in over the top. Remember what I told you about the tie off? Okay, so what that means is that the rest of the pile of 12 is done, and we can use this later because we're going to be repeating this on the other side. We will cut this off right here because now it's time for the next size. The 12 is done. The next one is the 10. Okay, so this is the 10s. I like to fold them in half first just to make sure that they are centered. And you don't have to be perfect because there's no such thing as a perfect plant. And we are almost to this next spot, which then we will go to the 8. So this is so far very fun, very simple craft. You get the kiddos or family involved. It'll be a lot of fun. Now, if you wondered why I made so much yarn strips, is because I'm going to be making multiples. I'm not going to stop at one. I'm going to make several. It is time to go to the next size, which is a 6. These would be great for weddings, parties, home decor, which is what I'm using mine for. So as you can see, once you get it going, it goes rather quickly. Next size is 4. The next one is the 2-inch. Now you're going to flip it over and you're going to repeat the process the whole way up. But on this side, you can actually see where you're going to change right there, etc. Lay down and basically start over. Okay, as you can see, here's one side and you flip it and there's the other side. So the final step is going to be to brush this out. Now, the harder you brush it and the more you brush it, the fluffier it's going to get. So depending on how fluffy you want it, depends on how much you're going to brush it. And you're going to brush the top and then you're going to go and you're going to flip it over and you're going to brush the other side. Here we go. Make sure when you're combing it that you've got your hands against your little vein right here because you don't want it to come apart. Okay? Now be patient. It's going to take a little bit of time because the whole object of this is to make these little fibers of yarn come apart and create little itty bitty single strand strings. Now I want to show you the difference between this and this. And as you can see, the fuzz that I'm collecting. Right. We're nearing the end, and so some of the other videos that I have seen make this part look extremely easy and extremely quick, and I'm not going to lie to you, and I'm probably the only one out there that's not going to lie to you. It is extremely hard, and it does not take 5 minutes like people might claim it does. It took me a long time to do this. The brushing out of the yarn. Now I'm thinking that maybe using wool yarn would be very beautiful, but it would also cost a lot more. It's really up to you, but the end result, I think it's very pretty. So in comparison to spending $25 on one, which I did, I have spent $1 on yarn to actually create one. And as you can see, it looks just like, it really does. It looks just like pampas grass. Very pretty indeed. And if you had a bunch of these in a vase or something, it would be very beautiful. So with that being said, have fun making yours. And if you do make one, throw me a photo to my email, yourcraftynanny@gmail.com. Until the next crafty creation that we do together, I will see you next week. Bye.